You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hi, I'm Tom Cock. Well, it's all about the future, right? The future great returns from stocks, and where will those come from? That's what everybody wants to know. That's what we want to know, but we don't know. They don't know. No one really knows. But I was surprised recently to read that the economy of the future has had its stock market way underperform. Now, China is the market that every business person wants to be in, right? Whether it's Howard Schultz, whether it's Walmart, we want to be part of the Chinese market. It's huge. It's robust. It's getting bigger. The Chinese government had planned on doubling the size of the China economy in 10 years. Think of that. It's astounding. But yet, the Shanghai Composite Index dropped 6.9% in the last decade, down 7% for a decade. That is shocking. Poor returns with robust growth. That doesn't make sense. Was it the U.S.-China trade war? Was it slowing domestic growth? Was it the fact that some of the major companies do not trade on the Shanghai Index? And by the way, the Shanghai Index makes up about 3% of the value of global stocks. Remember, the United States indexes make up about 55%. The developed world make up somewhere around 35%, and the emerging markets, of which China would be a member, make up about 12%. Slower growth, but still, it has to be a surprise. And here I've been picking on Japan's Nikkei index, which has been underwater now for 40 years. So how do you take this piece of information that just became available at the end of last year? Should you pay attention? Should you be timing out of China? Remember that the portfolios we build using dimensional funds only added China about a decade ago because they're very careful about property rights and governmental issues. And so China hasn't been a part of the portfolio all that long. How do you respond to this news? Well, what you do is you respond by not responding. Very famously, John Bogle said, at a time of crisis, you stand up and do nothing. China is part of the emerging markets economy, which, as I mentioned, make up about 11 or 12% of the world's stock markets. And sometimes the future for those developing markets looks great. Sometimes it looks horrible. And apparently, the people that buy stocks there were not favorable to the last 10 years. You, as an investor, always have to tune out the noise because there's a lot of it. And you're going to be hearing things about emerging markets and how they underproduced for the last 10 years. Remember, going back 50 years, they've been a very productive place to invest. So my advice, forget about it. Don't pay attention to it. Stay globally invested. Remember, that has been the most productive way to increase your returns ever so slightly and to decrease the volatility in your portfolio. Also, as John Bogle famously said, nobody knows nothing. And he's absolutely right. Nobody knows nothing after today's markets, where we're going to be headed, what's it going to be in China. I'm Tom Cock.
Talking real money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.